Welcome to Afterlife Topics and Metaphysics. This is Cyrus, and tonight I want to address the Archon soul trap conspiracy theory because this has been getting a little bit out of hand on my channel, and I do think an educated opinion is necessary, and this is a very popular idea that spreads across a lot of the alternative communities. And I know a lot of people who came to this channel from Dan from the Overwatch project, and so a special shout out, and I like that channel, and I like elements of these ideas, but I think we need to take a closer look at this and slow down a little bit on this conspiracy, because I also think this can be very damaging to how we perceive not only our roles on this planet in the universe, but the spirit world, astral dimensions, and things like this. So I've been a bit impatient lately with some of the people in the comments of this channel who have been pushing these ideas too far. And sometimes I do lose my patience. Sometimes I get very angry at some of you because the things that are being proposed, it really goes against I guess my my sense of reason, my sense of what is real and what isn't real, and sometimes it actually frustrates me. And instead of just leaving this stuff in the comments, I'm going to make a video about it. So before we go further, you are watching Afterlife Topics, where we talk about these kind of complex metaphysical and supernatural issues. And if you like this kind of stuff, then I encourage you to go down and hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button or share this video if you want other people to hear what I have to say as an astral projector, author, supernatural researcher. So your support is always appreciated. To continue. So, the archonic soul trap theory, there's multiple sources of information about this, and a lot of stuff that traces to Gnosticism and Gnostic teachings. And in fact, that's the origin of the Archon, I guess the etymology of the word Archon. This is really Gnostic thinking. But there isn't really very much hard evidence except for encounters with archonic entities in astral states. And this would include myself among people who have dealt with negative higher dimensional entities. So I think I have some level of credibility as somebody who has dealt with and fought an entity like this, actually a couple of different entities like this, through my experience as an astral projector. What you would call a higher dimensional negative entity, an archonic force. And so I think I have some idea of what we're dealing with and what's really going on, what, if any, truth is behind this conspiracy theory, and where it's being taken way too far. We can't, with going off of no evidence, accuse other people's spiritual experiences of being fake, of being a trap set up by Archons, okay? There's a huge amount of evidence in support of after-death contact. I mean, I work in the trenches of people having reunion experiences, whether it's astrally or through technological means, or there's going to be a video coming up soon with Sonia Rinaldi that you can watch about people being reunited with their loved ones in other dimensions. We can look at kind of like Metaphysics 101, that there's countless dimensions multi-layered on top of each other that any of us could potentially be existing and even simultaneously. So the Archon conspiracy theory postulates that the entire elements of it, and some of the people posting on this channel postulate that the entire afterlife is an illusion and all our deceased loved ones are tricks. So another reason that this is incorrect is because anybody who has even a little bit of empathic ability will know if we are really in contact with our loved ones or if they're imposters. We are also aware that the astral world is a living, breathing, vibrant, parallel universe to our own, with many levels of it. We're aware that the more that we become closer to our true selves and expand on our individuality and expand on our ability to be of service to other people, the more that we ascend to higher and higher realms that are more sublime and beautiful, and you could say heavenly. And as we ascend, there is no ability for a negative multidimensional entity to actually intermingle into those realms, because they exist on a sublime, beautiful type of environment where those types of thoughts, they are not shared by the inhabitants of those realms, or they wouldn't be in those realms. Right? If you're, a malicious, predatory entity, wouldn't even be able to access those types of realms because it's existing on a different thought frequency. This is why multidimensional entities, negative multidimensional entities, hang around closer to the earth, or they hang around in their own realms. Okay, so I dealt with an entity once that read my mind and attempted to continually shapeshift into whatever I was most scared of. And its goal was to get me to submit to it, was to get me to bow down and for it to become my master. And it wanted me. I was like the prize fish. It wanted me as the ultimate catch, that it could make somebody like me subservient to it. And so I battled this thing in a psychological way. And it was going into my mind and finding the things I was most scared of and shape-shifting into that, and then invading my mind with telepathic imagery and thoughts and telling me to bow before it. Serve me. I am your master now. And the thing is I know about metaphysical laws of free will in the universe, and all I could do was just have a laugh at it. Did the imagery scare me? Yes, because it was going into my mind and finding that which I was the most frightened of. But you know what? It didn't really have an effect on me because I knew the game it was playing. And so I outsmarted it. I outwitted it. And it never bothered me again. But this was an entity that found me coming out of my body, and it was dwelling close to the earth plane, and it was a very powerful multidimensional entity because it had advanced telepathic abilities, and it didn't possess a singular physical form but many. So it was an advanced, predatory, archonic entity that was hanging around this world. Even in the astral realms I've been to, you won't see those things because it wouldn't be compatible for those types of entities that they exist by being predators for other people. And you know who they feed off of? This is the point. So people who are watching, who are big fans of the Soul Trap Archon stuff and think it's all an illusion and blah, blah, blah. Those of you who believe this, I want you to listen very closely. Why do you not see those entities so much in normal astral conditions? Because they hang around the near-Earth astral world to prey on people who are earthbound, okay? Similar to like unfortunate people in our world who are homeless get preyed on by criminals. Those of us who are earthbound and just hanging around the earth, confused, lost, desperate, angry at themselves, psychologically vulnerable, the negative archonic entities prey on them. And then yes, anything is possible. Could they trick them into reincarnating? Yes. Could they energetically feed off them? Yes. Could they turn them into slaves? Yes. All these things are possible, but it's only going to affect a minority of the population, typically criminals, people on a low negative vibrational spectrum. You can fall victim to, for lack of a better term, demonic forces. And yes, all that is possible. They could influence us, they could feed off of us, they could use our consciousness basically to eat and make us reincarnate. All of that is perfectly possible because the victim is submitting to the entity, just like that entity wanted me to submit to it. If that entity, I don't mean to brag, but I am an advanced astral traveler, advanced whatever you want to call it, multidimensional guy, and I have an advanced psyche. I mean, I'm not bragging. This is just something I know. My psyche is advanced. The way I think, the way I perceive, and the way I can handle this type of situation. So that entity had no effect on me. somebody who is in a vulnerable psychological position, somebody who is recently deceased, there's a real risk of a negative archonic entity preying on them. This is why we have spiritual guides. So the people arguing that your spirit guides are also negative archonic entity traps, again, I'm sorry to be blunt, but you're full of shit. Okay, you're completely full of shit. Your spirit guides are there to protect you from these types of entities. When you take this idea too far, you are falling into the actual trap that the archonic forces want you to fall into. When you reject your spirit guides, when you reject going to higher astral realms, when you reject even your loved ones who are trying to help you and meet you, then you run a risk of becoming earthbound. Many earthbound souls that we meet, they are this way because they rejected going into other realms, and they chose to stay hanging around the near-earth world, and that is where you can become preyed on by these entities. So by spreading this kind of paranoia, you're putting yourself at risk of archonic entities, and you're also putting other people at risk too, because you're telling people to avoid the deceased loved ones, avoid their spirit guides, and I don't know. I mean, after death, like you can fool yourself into saying that you're going into some, the real afterlife. But if you're rejecting the real afterlife to go to someplace else, where are you going, right? How do you know you cannot be manipulated by these things in some other way? Your spirit guides, your deceased loved ones, and higher dimensional positive forces are there to help you, okay? So is the light a trap? Well, look, one positive thing about the soul trap conspiracy crowd is that it's causing people to question some near-death experiences and question the light, because not every experience with the light is real, because there is a situation of hollow heavens. People who are like devoutly Christian, they are greeted by a light, and then there's Jesus and God with a beard, and it's BS, because there is no God with a white beard. So some entity is impersonating God with a white beard who's surrounded by light, or is the light. Could this be a negative archonic force? The answer is yes, because somebody created a paranoid bubble known as fundamentalist Christianity or Catholicism or what have you. So now they're going into this little demi-plane of existence where, yes, some entity, maybe not the same kind of thing I battled, but maybe some kind of archonic entity is pretending to be a god so that it can siphon and feed off of all of the followers who then begin worshiping it. Very possible. So are you a fundamentalist Christian who believes that watching Harry Potter is going to make you go to hell? Then you are at risk of possibly becoming a victim of a negative archonic entity. Are you not? Congratulations. The odds of this happening to you are very, very low. It's up to you. Having knowledge and education about the afterlife will guarantee that none of these things will happen to you. Okay? It doesn't mean that the light is always a soul trap. Are there soul traps in these, hollow heavens, places, maybe extremist Muslims and extremist Christians go, or people who are earthbound and filled with negative energy and who are, who are hanging around this world and paranoid and scared? All these situations, yes. But for the vast majority of us, at least a large majority of us, these are not things that are going to affect us. And if you believe that your deceased loved ones and that the afterlife as experienced by astral projectors and many near-death experiencers and the information that comes through, if you believe all of it's an illusion, then you are actually putting yourself at risk of these same entities. Okay? Do you see how that works? So you are, in a way, by resisting this thing so much, you're making it persist. And I think it's a real threat. So if you want to keep up this paranoia that if I talk about meeting my deceased parents, and you want to go in the comments and tell me that my deceased parents are an illusion set up by the Archons, frankly, you have no purpose on this channel because you're just spreading paranoia and fear. And if there are, and I think there are these entities, negative entities, all you're doing is you're just helping them, okay? Because they use that paranoia to be able to trick and do these types of things. And anybody who's had real experiences in the other side is not going to think that it's all an illusion. Even if it makes you feel superior to people because you can say, oh, I know it's an illusion. They don't. You need to snap out of it, or, I don't want to talk to you about it because it's, because really what you're doing is you're hurting grieving people. You're telling them that their experiences that are completely real are not real because it's Archons. Snap the F-U-C-K out of it. And I can't say what I want to say because YouTube censors videos now, but you need to snap. You know what? Okay, I don't care. I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice the 55 cents that I would normally make from this video and curse and say, snap the fuck out of it. Okay, this paranoia is not serving you or anybody. You're spreading fear, you're spreading hopelessness, and you're ignorant about the nature of the other side. It's not 100% illusions. Even if something is partially true, it doesn't mean that all of our experiences in the afterlife are illusions. You're probably setting yourself up for a really difficult time. That's my rant. I had to get this out here. Maybe some of you will dislike what I have to say, but this is my estimation based upon being in this area for 20 plus years. You can get involved in website, books, whatever. Just please stop telling people on this channel and telling others, telling me even that our experiences are illusions or traps. You're not going to make many friends that way, and it's bullshit. So that's it for this video. See you guys next time.